Hello, my name is Troy Parker, President of Innovative Labor and Cleaning, and I want to welcome you all to our company. Now, as many of you know, or if you don't know, we're a second chance company. We give second chances to those who are returning to our community from maybe incarceration, maybe they had a substance abuse problem, or it could be mental health issues, what have you. We also deal with people who might be lower income, who have other challenges and obstacles. This company is different than any company that you're going to work for. This company is not driven just by profit. The purpose of this company was to help individuals who are marginalized by society, meaning basically left out or thought they're not worth fooling with, to bring them together and to form a company that gives them opportunities not just to have a job, but also to improve themselves and learn, different skills on the job and life skills such as goal setting and other things to make their life better. Now, how do we do that? First, we do start by giving you a job. And what we expect out of our employees is to come to work and come ready to work. So first we're going to talk about your work appearance. We give every employee a shirt or two when they first start because we want everyone, just like a sports team, to have a uniform so we all look the same. Things we're not going to tolerate is the drooping pants. A lot of people out in society may wear their pants hanging down off their ass or wherever, but here we want to look. In other words, when we go into these companies, we're asking them to give us an opportunity because many of us are second chance. And just to let you know, I too was incarcerated. I was only released back in 2015. I was released from federal prison. So my goal was to show that you could take people who have made mistakes, bring them together and have a successful business. But we got to have an image. We got to have a brand, a look. Nobody wants to hire a bunch of guys. This guy, looks this way. This one, this female over here is wearing, shorts. This guy here's got his pants down below his ass. He's got a cigarette in his mouth. That we don't tolerate. When you come to work here, if you want to come to work here, we ask you, to wear your shirt, have a belt, have your belt tight around your waist, have work boots. Those of you who need work boots, we will give you the work boots and then take a little bit out of your check over the next maybe month to pay for the work boots. Also, your hard hat, safety glasses, vest, gloves, we give those to you. Those of you who may need transportation, we provide transportation to and fro, back and forth to the job. If you live on the bus line, a lot of people do, you basically take the bus to our office here on Vine Street, and then we would put you in one of the vans and take you to a job site. So the transportation problem, if you had one, is taken off the table. Also, we pay every 2 weeks, so it's bi-weekly. You're paid on a Monday. So everyone would get basically a card. The money's loaded onto that card every other Monday, and that's how you're paid. Now let's talk about pay real quick. We've talked about dress, and now we're going to talk about pay. Everyone has to keep track of their own time. We asked each employee to turn in a personal timesheet. So you'd work 1 week, then you work that second week. At the end of that second week, you take your time card, and this is your time where you put your name, the job you worked at, how many hours, and you turn it in by 12 o'clock the Monday after the end of the pay period. The pay period ends on Saturday, so Sunday we're not open. Monday you make sure either you can email it in, take a picture of it, send it in, or drop it off at the office. If your time card does not make it in by 12 o'clock, then you won't get paid until the next pay period. Now I know all of you guys are out there like, oh man, that's bullshit. I want my money, this. There's over 91 people who work here. If 50 turn them in on time, and then we got the rest turn them in maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. It makes it too hard to keep track of. So it's up to you guys to be responsible for your time. Now, many of you might say, those of you who have already worked, there is a job sheet where everyone signs in and your name is on. So a lot of people lay back and think, well, shit, my name's on that sheet. They're gonna, get it off the sheet. Don't bank on that. Keep your own personal time. Just like you would any other job, you have to punch a clock or whatever it is, you're responsible for that time. Don't believe because your name's on that sheet, we're gonna go looking through all these sheets to find your name and figure out, well, how much time did Jimmy have this pay period? Because we're not. Also, if there happens to be a problem with your time, if you have an individual timesheet, it makes it easier for us to grab your timesheet, look at the days you're saying you worked, and then if you're saying, hey, I'm short 7 hours, and then we're like, okay, these are the days you had, it totaled 49 hours, you got paid for 49 hours, so what's the problem? Now you may say, oh, I worked another day, but if you didn't have it on your timesheet, we can look real quick and see like, hey, you had 49, you got 49. But say for instance, you got paid for 45 and your timesheet showed you had 49, we can grab your timesheet and see quickly that you were shorted. So that's why it's important for you to have your own personal times card. Now, let's go back to on the job, working on the job. What I expect from each one of you, whether you're second chance or not, this is a minority company. So we have to work extra hard just to get contracts. And so we don't get the same breaks as other companies. We can't have people going to jobs smelling like marijuana, smelling like alcohol, using a lot of profanity, using the N word, the B word towards females. If you get in a confrontation, it's like you're down on Lynn Street and there's all this cussing and yelling. We don't tolerate that. If there's an issue on the job, go to your supervisor. If you're on a job, say it's just you and another person, call the office, ask for Miss Pat, or you have Cheyenne in the office and they'll help you take care of it. The key here is what I'm asking each and every one of you to do is to go out, work 100%. I'm not saying kill yourself. I ain't saying work like no damn slave. I ain't saying, you can't never have a water break or anything like that, but give it 110%. And you'll see that this company takes care of its employees. There are many employees who work here that we, get in and we want to help. And it's not just some, it's all. We want to help those who want to get cars, help them to get cars. Those who want to get apartments, we want them to get apartments. And we're willing to even invest our money in you once you show that, hey, you're serious about it. Now, someone comes up and says, I want to get a car. Hey, boss man, I want to get a car. Can you help me get a car? And I'm like, okay, well, how much you have? Well, I ain't got nothing. I thought I could just borrow, a couple stacks from you. That's not going to happen. Because why would I just give you, $2,000 to get a car and you're not willing to save up anything to invest in your own transportation? But now you come to me and you say, hey, boss man, I got, $1,000 and I need, $1,500. I was wondering if I could borrow $500 so I could get a car. Now that we can make happen. The same with an apartment. My goal with this company is to change lives, not just by giving people jobs, because you can give people jobs and that's not going to really change their life. They'll just continue to do the same things they're doing. My thing is to get people to look and see, hey, look at all the possibilities that are out here. What are the things that you really want to do and achieve in your life if you knew you could not fail? Many of you want to do things, but you won't ever say it. You may want to own a house, but you might, I ain't never going to own a house. Many of you don't even have your licenses and are not really even thinking about it. My thing is to make you stretch out of your comfort zone and look at the things you really want to do. If you knew, hey, I could do whatever I want, what would you want to do? Would it be get your license back, get a car, buy a house, send your kids to college, have better relationships with your mate and your children? These are the type of things that this company is about. It's not just a staffing company where you go work, we make some money and then say, the hell with you. No, we want to invest back into people and make their lives better. In the job, you remember I talked about how we take you back and forth in the vans. Now the vans are very important. One, because they carry you back and forth. So cleanliness of the vans is very important. Don't get in the vans, drinking something in the van and then just throw the bottle on the floor. Now, there's going to be some of you watching this video are going to do just that. But when these things happen, then the van gets all trashed and dirty. Remember, you guys are the ones who are going to have to drive in it. If someone has an issue of cleanliness and maybe they don't have soap or they don't bathe properly, you have to bring that to our attention so that we don't end up with, bed bug issues or other issues, or just people, sitting next to people who just stank for that matter. We want everyone to be comfortable here. Now, we're not saying that, be all in each other's business, but there is a lot of gossiping. That's just how people are. But it's really up to you. Are you going to take this opportunity to make your life better, or are you just going to get down with other people and just gossip, stay here a while, and then bounce to the next job? Because then you'll just, constantly keep bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. So we've talked about your pay. We've talked about your dress. We talked about what we expect on the job. We've talked about, if there's any type of confrontation between yourself and another employee, or even, let's say, with a customer. Say, for instance, you go out on one of the job sites, and I'll be honest with you, some of the people in the construction industry and others don't always talk to you in the best way. Sometimes they cuss a little, like, God damn it, man, go pick that up. I told you, get out of the portalet. Y'all need to get to work. Now, I hear a lot of guys, more so guys, come back and say, oh man, that dude is racist, man. He don't like black people. And that's the go-to for everybody. And you don't know a bit more if that man is racist or not. But my thing is this. Let's say, for instance, he is racist. Not everyone is going to like everybody. Pure and simple. You don't like everybody. So my thing is, we got a goal here. And your goal should be the same as my goal. My goal is we both make money, we both are able to pay our bills, do the things we enjoy, whatever you want to enjoy doing on the weekend, whether you want to take your girl, your mate out for dinner, you want to watch a movie, whatever it is that you like to do, you're able to do it. So when these little confrontations come up with customers, keep in mind what the end goal is. Now, a lot of people sit there and say, well, man, he disrespected me. Now, that's so broad, because I hear the same people say that, hey, the customer disrespected me, but then they'll be on the job site with another employee and they'll call them something way worse than what the employee called them. But then nothing's said about that. My thing is this. Our goal is to go out and do a job. And if a customer is really being disrespectful, then okay, call the office or take the time and just pull the person aside. You can pull a customer aside and say, excuse me, I don't appreciate the way you're talking to me. I was trying to do what you told me. But let's say, for instance, it's just past that. And the person, you can't talk to them. Call the office and then let us deal with the situation. 9 times out of 10, when I get these calls about the racist customer and he don't like black people, normally that's like less than half of the story. The employer usually fails to tell me how, oh, well, they've taken like 10 smoke breaks in the first hour, and then they went and they had to sit in the portalet because they had diarrhea for another hour, and then basically the customer's just mad now. So make sure, if you happen to have these situations, you look at the whole situation and the part you play in it. Also, if you get to a job and you have an emergency, somebody will go to work and I don't know, their girlfriend calls them and says, honey, I want you back home. I want you here. And he's like, I got to get back to my woman. And they think for some reason we're going to take one of these big ass vans and drive all the way back out to Mason and get them so they can come home. And because, they'll call and say, hey, I got an emergency. All right. This is not like Metro. We take you there and we'll come get you at the end of the day. So if you have an emergency, whatever it might be, it's up to you to get yourself from that job back. Now, we ask that you call the office. If you just leave a job and don't say anything, well, just keep going. You don't need to come back. Because like I said, this is a team. If something comes up and you really have to leave, let the office know. And then arrange for yourself to get, to where you need to go to. But there's not going to be this, we get to the job and either you don't like it and you just gonna leave. If you leave a job without talking to someone in the office, just don't come back. Also, if you disrespect or get into a confrontation with a customer, you will not come back. Also, if you get disrespectful with one another, I don't go for the calling women bitches and calling other people out of their name because you get mad. I have a lot of female staff, and respect is key. But I want respect also from the females to the males. But our problem normally is the males to the females. So I'm speaking more to the men here. If you're on one of the jobs and you happen to have a run-in with one of female staff, it could be Miss Pat in the office, it could be Miss Johnson in the field, it could be Miss Debbie, be respectful. Because I'm not gonna sit and hear all the story of when it all comes down, because if you become disrespectful, then you're gonna be let go. And the staff I have been working with me for a long time, and I know how they handle, conflict. They don't come out the pocket and start hurling insults and things like that. So the whole basic concept of this, or my whole point is, this is like a family. And if you look at it like a family, well, maybe not some family, because some families are not real. This is like a more happier family. We're trying to work together. So if issues come up, stop and think to yourself, okay, hold on. What's a positive way I can handle this situation so it doesn't just spiral out of control? All right, maybe it's just not say anything. Just say okay and then go about your way. Then you can always go to the help email, and if you want to, get something to me, just type an email in here. Hey, this is what happened, and I have this issue, and I had it with Miss such and such, and I would like to talk to you about it. Then I'll get back to you. Also, if you have any other problem, there is an email, and I'll put that in the link. Well, actually, you guys will get it handed out to you. That you send an email to. So say there's a problem with your time, you send an email. And those of you who don't have emails, those of you who are not computer savvy, either was I when I came out of prison in 2015. Learn. Nobody's too old or can't learn. Now if you're dug in your trenches and you just sit here and you say, well, I ain't emailing nothing, I ain't this isn't the company for you. We're an evolving company. Just like our country evolves and society evolves, you have to be willing to change. So if you have an issue, whether it's time, whatever it might be, email it to that help desk, and then we will get back to you. The other thing, if there is an issue, nothing happens quickly around here. So if you lost your pay card or something like that happens, don't expect to just call the office and we're gonna just stop everything and say, oh, Marlon lost his time card or his pay card and we gotta stop and get it. And no, it doesn't work like that. Everything's gonna take a time. So figure 2 days to get us to get back with you. We don't do anything quickly, because when you do things quickly, people are able to take advantage of you. And I've had that happen where people come up and say, hey, I didn't get a check, and then I'll stop payment on a check and then give them another check. But then they took that first check over to, Bobo's Pony Keg, and they know it ain't hit the bank yet. And then now I got 2 checks out there. So it's for good reason I tell you, we don't do anything fast. I know a lot of y'all think, well, he's just being an asshole. No, I've learned from experience. So those are a few things I want to go over with you to let you know, one, about this company. I'll tell you once again, it's not like a lot of other companies, and I didn't make it to be that way. This is a company that helps people who want to help themselves live better lives. Now we do it through giving them employment, and the better jobs we get go to the employees who have been here the longest and work the best. So if you want one of them $39 prevailing wage job, don't be down here, shucking and bucking, bull crapping, and me getting calls about you. Or when you're doing other jobs that just pay $14, then the $39 job come up and you like, hey, boss man, let me get on that job. How I get on that? You're not gonna get on it. Basically, you're gonna be treated and get back what you give. So keep that in mind. I hope this helped. Welcome again, and remember, this is a family. We're counting on you, but it's up to you to make your life matter. Thanks.